Here.
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 Present.
It looks like Pastor Counts is not here, so I'm going to ask Leon to do our invocation tonight.
Okay, let us pray. Dear Father in heaven, we thank you so much for the wonderful love that you've given us through your Son Jesus. And we just pray that you be with us tonight, that you would watch over us and help us as we make decisions that affect the city of El Dorado. And hopefully we're doing what you want us to do, dear Lord, and you're going to help us to be stronger and better and just bring everybody together to be a group of good Americans. For it is in most precious Son's name we pray, dear Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Would everyone please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So next item on the agenda is proclamations and recognitions, and we have a proclamation. Whereas September 17th, 2023 marks the 236th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it's fitting and proper to accord official recognition of this magnificent document in its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore I, Bill Young, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of El Dorado, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week in the city of El Dorado, Kansas, and ask our citizens to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities which that privilege involves. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the city of El Dorado, Kansas, to be affixed this 5th day of September 2023. So that's exciting to get to read that, and we have some representatives from the Daughters of the American Revolution here, if you'd like to come up and give us a little statement, then I'll bring you down the proclamation. Right there is perfect.
Right there? Okay. On September 17th, 1787, the Constitution was ratified. At 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, church bells rang out in Philadelphia to celebrate the occasion. One of the ways our nation has celebrated this event for years is through Bells Across America, initiated by the Daughters of the American Revolution. The Susanna French Putney chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution here in El Dorado is encouraging everyone, including the churches, to ring their bells for 1 minute at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time on Sunday the 17th to commemorate this important event in history. Several groups will be meeting in front of the courthouse with their bells just before 3, and everyone is welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me bring this down to you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, no other recognitions tonight, so we'll move on to personal appearances. Personal appearances are opportunities for organizations or citizens to make special presentations before the City Commission. Such appearances are scheduled in advance of the meeting by calling City Clerk Tabitha Sharp at 316-321-9100 by 5 o'clock p.m. the Tuesday preceding the meeting. Presentations are limited to 10 minutes, and any presentation is for information purposes only. No action will be taken. And it doesn't look like we have any personal appearances scheduled for tonight. So we'll move on to public comment. Persons who wish to address the City Commission regarding items that are not on the agenda but are under the jurisdiction of the City Commission may do so when called upon. Comments on personnel matters and matters pending in court are not permitted. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes, and any presentation is for information purposes only, and no action will be taken. And we had originally notified citizens that we would have a public hearing tonight for the revenue neutral rate for property tax. That is going to be on the 18th. But I would invite, if there's anyone here that would like to make comment tonight, to make those comments during this public comment period. Otherwise, come back the 18th and we'll have the public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to make comments tonight?
I'm just coming back on the 18th.
Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing you again on the 18th.
Thank you. Yeah, I do.
So the public hearing will be the 18th, just so everybody knows. And seeing that there's no one here for public comment, otherwise, we'll move on to the consent agenda. On tonight's consent agenda, we'll be considering the approval of City Commission meeting minutes from August 31st, 2023, and Commission work session August 30th, 2023. Planning Commission appointment for Aaron Klein for a term set to expire May 1st of 2026, and a Walnut River Brewery liquor permit resolution. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So move on, there's no old business, so we're gonna move on to new business, and the first item on the agenda, item number 11, is Police Department body cameras. Come on up, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission.
Good evening.
So, the police department has submitted a proposal to get new body cameras, as the ones that we currently have are, simply said, at the end of their life. The company that we had been working with in years past, Patrol Eyes, services less than 200 police departments across the country, so they're not a large company. And we've come to a point with them where the equipment that we're purchasing, we're constantly replacing at this point. So our request would be to purchase a new model of body cameras called Wolfcom. That company comes with the hardware. The hardware that comes with the body cameras would be a 30 terabyte server that we would be able to store our footage in-house rather than having to use servers, from IT or somewhere else. We would have our own on-site storage device for that footage. And the plan would be to purchase the 5-year plan for the body cameras, which, if my number's correct, came in at approximately $61,000 for 5 years. Through that process, at the end of year 3, they would send us new body cameras that would replace the ones that we would be purchasing right now. So there would be a replacement plan in place with this system.
Ready for a motion?
I am.
Well,
I move,
okay.
We can have a conversation. One question.
I move to authorize the purchase body camera system as proposed by the police chief.
Second that.
Motion is second. Questions and further
Yeah,
discussion?
I just had a curiosity question. Was that in your budget, Mike?
Currently, yes.
Okay. And the second thing I was just kind of curious about, how long do you keep the footage?
We store the footage up to 90 days, depending on the footage that's being stored. There's very few files that are kept for any period of time if we need to store those elsewhere. Obviously, in this case, we'd be able to store it on site with this server, but the rest of it is deleted anywhere from 60 to 90 days out from the date that the video was created.
Thank you.
I've got a question.
Yes.
I see you have a quantity in here, right?
I'm sorry.
27? Is that correct?
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
27 quantity in here of how many you need?
27, yes.
Does that include any extras for if you were
That would
hiring people?
include 2 extras, yes. So our organizational chart, we're designed for 27 sworn officers. That would eliminate myself and the deputy chief from the need of having those body cameras, just because we're not on the streets every day. So
Yeah. I was just making sure you had enough. Like,
Yes.
Do you need more than what's in there?
that would give us 2 extras.
Sounds good.
And this is that system where they come in, they just drop them in the dock and it downloads.
So actually, with this system, it's actually, it works off of Wi-Fi. So once an officer pulls into the parking lot at the police station and gets within so many feet of the building, those body cameras will start downloading onto the server automatically.
That's awesome. Any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you, Chief. All
Thank
those
you.
in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, supplemental design services agreement with PEC for Gordy Street Stormwater.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners. As we discussed in our work session, PEC was present and gave you all some information on results that were found as part of the modeling for the downtown storm sewer project. That portion of the project has a new water line involved in it, new pavement, and those sorts of things. So within the supplemental agreement is an additional cost of design services of $155,500, which would increase the contract amount to $505,000. This would go ahead and secure design on a potential Gordy Street storm sewer project, which would relieve some of the street flooding that occurs mainly along the First Avenue corridor, as well as go ahead and put design in place for bulb outs or bulldozers, pedestrian type accommodations at the intersection of First Avenue and Main and Pine Avenue in Main.
So when do you plan on breaking ground?
The current schedule is preliminary plans to us by October, final plans by the end of February, and construction in 2024.
Are we gonna run out of time with, are we gonna be in time with the grant?
We have a completion date of the end of 2024 for the grants,
Okay.
so we're going to be pushing it.
Do I have a motion?
I move to accept the supplemental agreement with PEC for design services on the Gordy Street Improvement Project and authorize the city manager to execute it.
Second it.
Motion and second. Other questions?
Just, and I'm sorry for this, it's a nitpicking deal, but on page 21 of 35, it gives the original contract amount, 349.5, and it says it's, that 155.5, but it says this contract amount will decrease by this supplemental agreement, don't you mean increase?
Increase, yes, and I've spoke to them about that. And
Okay.
gave it a revised version, yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you for pointing
Sorry
that
to be a
Good
nitpicker.
catch.
out. No, I love it.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is First Amendment to the installment contract for deed with Prairie Trails Golf LLC dated December 11, 2020.
City Commission, the agreement before you will amend the purchase agreement with Prairie Trails Golf LLC to do a number of things. In summary, what it will do is it will modify the mortgage to 10 years instead of the 5 that was originally agreed on, which will extend the terms of the financing. It will also decrease the payment from $2,000 to $1,000 per month. We will have the ability to conduct a preliminary inspection of the golf course to determine its current condition and then to develop a list of improvements that should be made to the golf course to make it, I guess, viable. In addition to that plan, the owner then agrees to implement the plan, and we will agree to provide up to $50,000 per year for the implementation of that plan, obviously subject to inspection by the city. In addition, the city will provide a maximum of 25 million gallons of raw water to Prairie Trails at no charge. This would be valued at $10,500 annually if they were to be paying at the current raw water rate of 42 cents per 1,000 gallons. So in essence, we'll be giving up that revenue as part of the transaction. Let's see, the city will provide funds to reimburse Prairie Trails for capital investments. I've already mentioned that. That will be limited to $50,000. Excuse me, and it will be based on receipts and invoices that are provided, and also an inspection of the improvements. The city will also continue to pay property taxes levied against the course property that are used exclusively for golf course purposes, as long as current ownership remains in place, although the amount of taxes to be repaid will not exceed $50,000 in any calendar year. And that's what we currently pay about right now. This does preserve our first right of refusal, or I'm sorry, our right of first refusal, which we currently have in the agreement. So in the event that the current ownership decides that they would like to sell the property or discontinue operations as a golf course, the city would have the ability to exercise its right of first refusal and purchase the property back for the price that it was sold for. The city will maintain Country Club Lane from Country Club Road. We've since done that already, and we will continue to monitor that and maintain it as needed. And those are the primary summary of the agreement, so I'll take any questions that stand for it.
This is what we laid out.
This is the terms that we laid out the second time around. So the first time we provided an offer to assist the golf course. There were some comments back. Well, I guess ownership provided a request for assistance. We discussed that, and the commission had some changes that they wished to make as part of that negotiation. And this agreement reflects the modified arrangements that we talked about last.
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the First Amendment to the installment contract for deed with Prairie Trails Golf LLC dated December 11th, 2020, and authorize the mayor to execute said agreement.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Is there further questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Agenda item number 14, resolution in support of pedestrian accommodations on the Walnut River Bridge project.
Yes, the city was made aware that KDOT is anticipating to replace the bridge over the Walnut River on 12th Avenue. 12th Avenue used to be a state highway. KDOT still maintains that bridge there. The current bridge is about 70 years old. There's been a couple of significant deck projects in the past that we may all remember. But now is the time to replace it fully. When we were made aware of the situation, something that staff has heard before, and I'm sure former and you commissioners as well, about the concern about pedestrians and kids riding bikes to get to the Walnut River Sports Complex and how to accommodate that. So in our initial, what they call field check design meeting with KDOT, that the city was involved with, brought to them the notion that, at least staff at this point would like you to consider pedestrian accommodation across that bridge. It's a bridge that's going to be in place for another 70 years. The Parks Master Plan talks about the potential for growth and recreation facilities out underneath the dam by the lake. We know that the county has an effort to do some sort of event complex, hopefully, south of 12th Avenue at the old Honor Camp facility. So in telling this, in speaking to KDOT about this, they advised, hey, we need to see some sort of resolution, official support from the city of El Dorado, that there is an interest in that. We need to understand where bike path or pedestrian accommodation would be placed. Butler County is in agreement with this. The county commissioners passed a resolution supporting a pedestrian accommodation on that new bridge a couple weeks ago at one of their meetings. 12th Avenue is actually all county road right-of-way. It is not the city's road. So they showed that support. The bike path, the county has offered up support anyway to see that happen as well. We aren't at a point where we fully understand the true alignment of it or the actual pretty hard estimated cost. We do know that there's a cost. This route along this corridor has been something that's been discussed with KDOT in the past with their Transportation Alternatives Program, which they have grant funding for bike path extensions. Specifically, the last time we mentioned this corridor was when our Phase 3 the bike path fell apart because of BNSF below the compost site. So with just all the activity, the Wildlife and Parks was at this meeting as well. They talked at length about how they're encouraging cycling around the state park and either paved site on pavement or off-road on the trails they continually extend. So they were advocating for as well. So for your consideration is this resolution this evening.
Be glad to see a bike path out there.
It'd be a neat deal, especially if we're talking about having a fishing tournament that might be on ESPN out there for a while.
Yeah, it's been needed for a while.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve a resolution in support of pedestrian accommodations on the Walnut River Bridge project.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. It looks like that's it on a regular agenda. We don't have any discussion items, so we'll move on to reports. City Commission Advisory Board updates. We'll start with Commissioner Wilkinson.
We'll start with this one. Parks and Rec met a couple of weeks ago. One of the main things that came before the advisory board, and it also came before a work session too, didn't it? The main 8 trails?
I don't think,
Is that just, okay, just the advisory. Main 8 trails, which is located out at Rio Park, but not really Rio Park, just in that area,
Underneath the bridge almost.
came to the advisory board, Parks and Rec's advisory board, asking them to consider making them a city park. Quite a lot of discussion on it, probably a lot more questions than answers, but it's something that Parks and Rec is looking at for information purposes, but no decision was made. So that was one of the first things that came up.
Commissioner Wilkinson, just to clarify, Main 8 Trails is at the bridge on Main Street, not Rio.
Yeah, it's right.
Oh, it's underneath, okay.
Underneath there where they have that area.
And I
It's
think
between
part
the
of the
river.
problem is the fact that the city may own some of it,
yeah, the
the
city
property
has-
and private property owners, and so
Didn't realize that.
that's a bit of a problem. But I did learn, I never knew what Rio meant. I had no idea. Do you all know what Rio means?
River?
Good. It means Riverside Organizational Improvement,
Never heard that.
which was an organization that was working to improve that area as a park, but then they disbanded and just left the name Rio. But I never knew what it meant. The horseshoe pits at East Park are going to be removed, and they may already have been removed.
These are going to be removed.
Okay, going to be removed. It's more of a safety issue with the mowers and people running around and not paying attention to the horseshoe. I believe they're also going to look at the ones at Central Park, but for right now, it's just going to be East Park. We know about the stadium getting turf. We know the fence has been ordered. Right field's going to be 8 foot, center field will be 12 foot. It'll be a composite. And Kevin was asked about when he sold the turf, the old turf off the field. He said it was amazing the number of people who came in and bought rolls and rolls of AstroTurf.
Really?
And of course, the thing was, they had to move it. The city wasn't there to help them. But I think at the time of the meeting, they had like 3 rolls left.
Wow.
So, not sure what people did, but whatever. Scoreboards will be ordered by late October for both Central and East Park, and they will get installed. As you saw on Facebook, the concession stands have been demolished and are anticipating to have the new ones completed by December 31st. Fall activities is 405 kids that have enrolled or signed up for football, soccer, and volleyball. There are 55 teams. We need 2 football coaches, we need 6 soccer coaches, and we need 2 volleyball coaches. Parents, help out. So if you can coach football, soccer, or volleyball, give Parks and Rec a call. The soccer fields at the lake have not been watered all summer. Evidently the pump system needs a new part and hasn't come in, isn't working, but they're still going to play soccer. Graham Splash Park, need of repair. And did I see where North Main does too? So both the splash parks are in need of repair. The pool averaged 115 people per day, dropped off in August. They're blaming the heat. I would blame the heat. And over the summer, there were 10,000 people who went highest since 2019.
Wow, that's awesome.
So that's good news.
Before you move off, can I ask a curiosity question? Are they going to put the scoreboard over on the left field area instead of where the sun blinds you?
It's gonna move to left field.
Good. Just curious. Thank you.
Main Street met. Find the right stack of paper. My filing system is not the way it should be. Well, where is it? Maybe I don't have anything. We did meet, we talked about, we always talk about finances. It's always the first thing we discuss to make sure that they are online as far as spending goes and bringing in their monies. Talked about adding some additional things to Thankful Thursday. This Thursday, they're going to give away $300. If you have put your name in the drawing, and to be able to put your name in the drawing, you have to have purchased something in the store. So if you shop all 13 stores downtown and put your name in 13 times, you can do it for every time you buy something in a store. You have to be there to win, though. But that's kind of reminiscent of the old days. Back when we were kids, we do the same thing. Talked a little bit about the upcoming trick-or-treat down the street and planning to get ready for Christmas. I mean, it may be September, but those things take a lot of planning. That's it.
Thanks, Kevin. What do you got, man?
We met and talked about the upcoming week we have. There's going to be a lot going on with our celebration. We also talked about the parade. I thought the parade went real well. I want to thank all you guys who were judges. We were only missing one thing, and that was a flag to lead it off, but I guess that's the way it goes. We also met and talked about not only the festival, but we have a lot of things. I can guarantee you that our new young lady, Katie, has hit the ground running. Tabitha's really been working hard on it too, and there's just a lot going on they have planned that's really looking good.
I'm looking forward to it. What do you got, Rick?
I don't have anything to report this time.
Okay.
Yep, we have not met, library board has not met.
Okay.
Next month.
EFABC hasn't met, but to kind of tack on to what Leon said, we got Gold Fest coming up, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Super excited about it, and looking forward to more and more information coming out on city social media and so forth, so pretty pumped. David, what do you have?
Well, speaking of Gold Vest, Experience Dorado continues to pursue sponsorship opportunities. Thus far, we've added 17,500 sponsorship dollars. And then volunteer recruitment is obviously going on in earnest, so if you want to volunteer, get a hold of Experience Dorado, and we can put you into a good spot to volunteer. Special thanks goes to Intrust Bank, Bottle Community College, ICI, and Mills Insurance for providing monetary sponsorships. In addition, Say Stop, Pioneer Balloon, and F5 have also provided in-kind donations. So hopefully we'll continue to get those coming in the next couple of weeks so we can continue that effort. If you haven't been down, the Joe Buffalo mural has been finished. It's right across the street there from Willie's. That was done by Brick Mob, an artist group out of Wichita, and so that's pretty good. They are also, Experience Dorado is also partnering with Brick Mob to build a sculpture that's going to say Eldo right there in front of the Joe Buffalo, so people can kind of get their picture taken with the Eldo in the picture in the background. So that will be coming, and then we're also looking at another artist to do an El Dorado flag mural on the wall adjacent to the Buffalo mural. So that'll be coming soon. Sales tax continues to show strong numbers. We've received $348,789 on retail sales that occurred in June. This was actually a quite high month. Year to date, we've received $2.42 million compared to $2,080,000 from a year ago. So we're up about 5.5% year to date. And so at these projections, we're indicating an annual sales tax receipts of $3.4 million. So keep shopping local. We appreciate everybody for choosing local shops. And everybody's mentioned the activity that's gone on at Central and East Park. The concession stands are removed. Construction on the new facilities should begin in the next week or so as they begin delivering materials and start getting that all started in earnest. And then, of course, the activity center will begin fall hours on September 5th. That's today. The center will open on Mondays through Thursdays from 3:15 to 9 p.m. and Fridays from 3:15 to 5, and on Sundays from 1 to 5 p.m. The center will be closed on Saturdays. One other thing to note is that we've been having some credit card challenges in the office lately, so it's like one of number two run through and the other one doesn't. So right now we're not taking credit cards until we get that figured out. Staff has been working with several different parties to figure out how to get that resolved so that we can recommence credit card activities. So we'll get that up to date as soon as we can.
It was kind of interesting that you put out a note quite a while ago about if your trash pickup day is on Monday, then it would, or whatever the holiday falls in, it would pick up on Wednesday. It appears we have a lot of area out there where people don't read very well. There was a lot of people who left their trash out last night. The storm really rocked it that came through.
Yep.
That's all you got?
That's all.
All right, we don't have an executive session, so I would consider a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, everyone.